Good morning, everybody. It's your boy D Max. So let's talk about some things. All right. Well, first, I want to say thank you to everybody. I want to thank everybody who subscribed. We're at 147 subscribers right now. I started this page about a year ago, and just off of the content, I'm so appreciative of the people who chose to join and just hear out my points and interact and just help me to grow. So I just appreciate y'all, and I just want to put that out there first. I like to give acknowledgement and appreciation to people on the regular. I feel like that's an important thing to do. So yeah, salute to everybody who tunes in and engage with me. I appreciate y'all for real. And we're growing intentionally, so that's dope. Um, so my topic today, why are so many people willing to go down with the Titanic, which is Donald Trump and his administration? We see right now in the news what's going on, and we understand that as the DA and all the January 6th committee, as they close in on this guy and they're starting to find a whole lot of things that's going on. First and foremost, they went to Mar-a-Lago and they found boxes of top secret documents that were not turned in when they originally asked for all of the documents that Donald Trump had. So he was trying to hide these boxes of documents, but why? There's only two reasons that I can think of that a former disgruntled president would hide secret documentation. One, it incriminates him. Two, it can be used as leverage whenever he gets in a tight situation. And I do not put either one of those scenarios past Donald Trump based on everything that he's demonstrated thus far and shown how low that he's willing to go to keep his reputation and his position of authority and power intact. People like that, they are drunk on power and they will not relinquish it for anything. It has to be taken from them and they have to be stripped down to the bare minimum. That's the only way you can get rid of a person like Donald Trump. Like, he's not going to go away as long as he feels that he has a chance. He's an opportunist. He's a salesman, and this is what he's done all throughout his life. Go back and look at his past history in business and see what his businesses have ended up being. See what the end result of those businesses are. So I don't understand why a person would follow somebody with such a horrible background. I associate that with um, Charles Manson getting out of prison and people wanting to follow him. It's the same difference. Why would you want to follow somebody that's going to lead you to destruction? And their past has shown you that all of their endeavors has led to destruction for somebody other than them. Everybody attached to that situation falls except for Donald Trump. So why are these people so willing to go down with the Titanic? They're scrambling, running around. Giuliani is on shows trying to garner some sympathy and trying to use those old tactics of let me go and show that I'm the friendly, beloved old mayor of New York again. And no, it doesn't work. You have his children scrambling, running around, trying to hide stuff and keeping their face out of the public and basically ducking everything right now. Why? Why? They were so bold and they were so outspoken before, but now that the proof is coming out, now that they're finally finding the physical evidence of all of the stuff that people have been claiming, all of those whistleblowers have been claiming. What's the lieutenant colonel in the army, Lieutenant Colonel Venable or something like that? He is a respected officer in the military, and he came forth to blow the whistle on something that was taking place, which he should do, because in UCMJ, which is the Uniform Code of Justice in the military, it states that we are not, excuse me, it states that we are not obliged to follow an unlawful order by any superior officer. If they order us to do something that is unlawful based on our laws and our constitution, we have every right to not only not follow that instruction that they're given, but we have a right to report it to their superior so that their superior can deal with them about that unlawful order that they gave. That's how it goes in the military. And being that Donald Trump is the commander in chief of the military, it does not exempt him. So if he gives an unlawful order and sends that down the chain, anybody in that chain has a right to oppose that and to report him so that he can be dealt with as well. But see, people feel like he's above the law. He feels like he is above the law, and that's why he felt like he could do that. But when Colonel Venable came and spoke up, they tried to demonize this man. They tried to discredit this man, and he's a part of the American military that they claim to honor and love so much. But when it came down to him doing his job, what he was supposed to do, and following the code of ethos of the military, they bashed that man. So how much do they really care about this country? These people are not patriots. And when the people that I'm talking about are these politicians. They are not patriots. They do not have any patriotism in them. I want you to understand that. You look at the Ted Cruzes, you look at the Greg Abbotts, you look at the Madison Cawthorns, you look at the Jim Jordans and the Matt Gaetz and the even Nancy Pelosi's. All of these people are not patriotic people. They could care less about the patriotism and the honor and all of that stuff for the flag. They could care less. So let's just get that out there. But my question I want to go back to is this. Why would a disgruntled president want all of these top secret documents? What is he willing to do with those documents? Because I was just reading a story about a couple in West Virginia. The husband is a Navy engineer, and he was about to attempt to sell some top secret submarine plans to a foreign country. But luckily, the FBI got a hold of the plot, and they sent in an undercover person, and now this guy is about to be sentenced to 12 to 17 years, I believe it said, which is not long enough for that crime. You're putting our country in danger by giving away our secret um our secret submarine plans and stuff like that. That is crazy that he only got 12 to 17 years. His wife got locked up as well. I don't know how much time she got, but still, anything under 25 years for espionage is ridiculous. And but yeah, they gave such a light sentence for that's treason. This is treason. Treason is punishable by death. Just to give you an idea of how heavy of a sentence is carried with treason, but they didn't want to call it treason. They didn't label it treason. They didn't charge him with treason. And he's going to be out in 12 years, and he's going to be even more disgruntled and dissatisfied with this country as he was before, which led him to try to sell those plans to another country in the first place. So now he's got 12 years to sit there and plan and plot in prison on his next attack on the United States. This is what we're dealing with, and nobody is Nobody's seeming to understand this. They're not seeing the big picture. They're not looking at the overall picture. These people do not love this country, and all of that patriotism crap that we do, and all of that honoring the military and honoring the police. You see what they did to the police on January 6th. And the ironic thing is, they were beating them with American flag poles, which represents the red, white, and the blue, the land of the free, the home of the brave. And those people who you say you honor so highly, who protect you on a daily basis, your police force, you beat them with the flag that you claim to love and represents the united front of the United States. But you're beating the people who are supposed to protect because you're angry and you don't get your way and you want your way in this situation. This is a very sick country. It's a very sick country. Sick mentally, sick physically, sick emotionally, sick spiritually. This country is very, very sick. I mean, I constantly just sit back and observe what is going on our level, and I mean the local level, and how these things are affecting us on the local level. And what I'm starting to observe is that people are starting to get the idea, they're starting to carry the mentality of, well, if the government doesn't care, why should we care? And so now you have people out here who are doing their own thing. They're not following the guidelines of the government because they do not trust the government. The government has shown that they are not stable, and we should not put our trust in them because they are constantly failing the people. And so now you have people on both sides of the aisle, conservatives and liberals alike, who don't trust the government as a whole. And so if you don't trust somebody, that means you lose respect for them. And when you lose respect for them, that means that you do not show any value in anything that they have to say. And so now you have all of these people out here that are local business owners that are doing their own thing independent of the government because they don't trust the government anymore. And I mean the local government. So there's a trickle down effect that happens whenever our government is failing and whenever our government is suffering. And I've stated before, it's a direct result of these people who had their education bought by their parents, and they never ever did any of the work, and they never ever possessed any of the knowledge of what they were supposed to and what they got their degree in. And so now they have a degree that's just a piece of paper, but they don't have any of the knowledge behind that degree, yet they're being put in places of power and of influence and importance, and they're failing horribly because they have absolutely no understanding of the law, of any of the things that have to do pertaining to that job, because they don't qualify. They never got the information, and now they're trying to learn on the job. But some positions you cannot learn on the job. We cannot afford to have somebody that don't know something on these certain jobs. Would you have a person with no experience working on airplanes? Would you get on that plane and that person is just winging it, shooting from the hip? Good morning, Marilyn. How you doing? Blessed to see you this morning. I hope you're doing all right, sister. But yeah, would you be comfortable riding on an airplane and you know that the mechanic of that airplane has only worked on Honda Civics all his life? This is what we're doing right now. We are putting everything into people who are not qualified. You're absolutely right. They never did qualify. These are the people who never went to class because they didn't have to. You remember, we just had a couple of stars what, a few months ago, maybe a year ago, who went to prison because they were buying their children's degrees. And they're not the only ones. There's been so many people to come through that school. And one tennis, I believe he was a tennis coach, and he was a part of this as well. This is nothing new. They just now caught on to it, and they really put some attention on it. But this is something that's been going on for decades and decades. So we've always had these people who did not qualify in these positions, and now we're starting to feel the effects of it. That's exactly what's going on. We're feeling the consequences and the effects of those people who were never qualified to be in that spot in the first place. And so they're not going to they're not going to relinquish that spot. They're not going to say that I can't do this, I'm not qualified for this. They'll rather sit there and let everything burn to the ground before they will humble themselves and say, I need some help. I can't handle this. Or they'll try to dump their load. That didn't come out right. They'll try to dump all of their work on their subordinates who are not qualified to do that work. So this is the system that we're operating in right now. That's why you're seeing the infrastructure of this country fail. That's why you're seeing all of the industries struggle right now because of these people who's in these positions. But I want to get back to something. That couple in West Virginia. What what made this engineer, this Navy engineer? I assume that he's a officer is usually someone who holds that title, is pretty high up in the chain. So, what made this Navy engineer so angry towards the United States that he was willing to put us in jeopardy? Because the plans that he was going to sell was the plans for a submarine that could go undetected, and different systems that they had added to the submarines and stuff to give us an edge over other people. What happened with that man and his wife that caused them to want to turn against the country that they claim they love so much? All of these people are out here hollering, oh, we love America and America the great and America the true, but their actions are not lining up with what America is supposed to stand for. So what are they really doing? They're trying to create their own America. Yes, he was white. He was white. Um, and that also opened up another question for me. What groups is this man attached to? I want to know if he's attached to any organizations other than the military, because that's going to start to open up some things as well. As far as I know, he could be a white nationalist. As far as I know, he could be a KKK member. As far as I know, whatever. And you notice right now, the white nationalists are feeling attacked because they're having to be held accountable for January the 6th. And as they're being held accountable for January the 6th, we're starting to see things take place across the country that can't be explained unless you add them in that equation. For instance, there's about 5 or 6 HBCUs that have had bomb threats. Jackson State was one, Xavier was one. I think it was there were a few other schools where they received bomb threats, and it was a coordinated effort. So who is going to send bomb threats to a HBCU during this time? Who has an issue in this country to where they would feel that they would have to do something like this? The only people that are disgruntled right now is the white nationalists of this country. And that'll be the Proud Boys, that'll be the Oath Keepers, and all of the other white militia groups in this country. They're the only ones who are disgruntled right now to the point of doing anything like that. He is an older gentleman. Yeah, I don't know if he's in his 50s or not, but he has to definitely be in his late 40s or mid 40s, somewhere like that. Because, like I said, he's an engineer in the Navy. He's an officer, and generally, officers are going to be older, like a lieutenant colonel. He was pretty high up in the chain, so um, and that is a great point too. They are definitely afraid of a growing country of color. And the main thing that they're afraid of is that the purity of their bloodline is going to be washed away. This is something that we don't talk about, but is very, very prevalent in the white mindset. They get angry whenever their daughters mix with us and other ethnic groups, because that is diluting the purity of their group, and they want to remain that minority, which they're not I mean, which they want to be that majority, which they're not anymore. We know that, but they're trying to hold on to that. And as people integrate and as people start to mingle more with other ethnic groups, they're slowly dwindling away, and they're afraid of that. They are so afraid of that. But that's a vanity thing to me. I feel like things like that is trying to exalt your group, and all of this stuff is just vanity to me. I think it's silly. I think it's very narcissistic, and that's their issue. But it becomes our issue whenever they try to push their stuff on everybody else, and they try to um, you know work against the evolution of this country right now. That's basically what they're doing. They want to stay back in the old times when they were ahead, but we're evolving into an age where they're not going to be in that position that they were for all of these 400 years, and that scares them to death. So say if he's not part of a generational elite white family, then he was brainwashed by them into believing his whiteness was one. Absolutely. I agree with that 100%, sis, because like I said, these people have this concept in their mind of, um, I want to keep my bloodline pure. And they even go so far, and this is like the more high up, rich white families, wealthy white families, we definitely have heard how the Rothschilds or the Rockefellers, they will marry within their family. There's a lot of incest because of them wanting to keep their family bloodline pure. And they don't marry outside of their bloodline. It you know it it's been said for years. We see some of these kids don't look right, and because anytime you have incest, your children are going to come out with some type of deformity, some type of mutation, because of you mixing your family DNA. And so, yeah, that just let's see, his whiteness. Yeah. Going back to that, the elite white family. Then he was this brainwashing thing. We have people like Candace Owens, Jesse Lee Peterson, um, Herschel Walker, who have also been brainwashed. I mean, these are black people who have seen black people do so many disparaging things, and they've had so many bad experiences with black people that they gave up on the people, and when they speak about us, I get angry sometimes, but then I sit down and I look at it. There's a lot of people that are just disappointed with us as a people. They really are. And I'm talking about our own. And they will go outside of our community because they've seen so much disappointment and experienced so much letdown with either their father or the grown men in their family. And yeah, Candace is doing it for the money and the fame. That's one of the motivators. But I believe she came up in a situation to where she experienced something with black men that that made her so sour towards us. and she has a chip on her shoulder, and she always go after us in a negative connotation most of the time because of the experiences that she had. Now, I'm not condoning what she says, but I can see where it's coming from. I could see the hurt, and I could see the disappointment when she talk about us. That's coming from some experiences that she's had in her life. And like I said, I don't condone it, but I understand where her vitriol comes from. And the same with those other people that I named. So that's their issue, though. The black community is not the only community that's struggling. This is what I want people to understand. The emphasis may be placed on us, the media and the cameras may be placed on us all the time. But if you look at other ethnic groups, you look at the Asian ethnic group, they have their own issues going on. They have their own stuff going on, okay? And the white community as well, they have their own stuff going on. The Native American communities. Nobody even knows the issues with the Native American community because we just don't care about the indigenous people of this country. Somebody tell me one thing that you've seen in the news about Native Americans lately. We don't know anything that's going on with the Native American community at all. And we really don't care. As long as they stay tucked away and quiet, we really don't care. Out of sight, out of mind. And that's the same thing they want with us with critical race theory. Out of sight, out of mind. Go tuck yourself somewhere in the corner and just exist. They want us to do the same thing that the indigenous people have been forced to do in this country. And you won't hear nothing about what's going on any reservation in this country. Why? They want to sweep everything under the rug. They don't want to talk about it. They want to put a band-aid on a broken leg all the time. This is where we are as a country. And, as a people, we can't allow that. We, the people, ignorant people, will elect ignorant politicians and ignorant leaders. Who cares? What's up, Uncle Vern? Good morning, man. I'm telling you, ignorant people will elect ignorant leaders. And so, as long as we have this ignorance in a position to where they have the power to elect people and to put people in position, then we're always going to face this problem. But the only thing we can do to counter that is put our own people in position to fight against that. That's really the only option that we have right now. In a perfect world, yeah, everything should work a certain way, but this world is far from perfect. And so our expectations of our government is not really going to take place. They are not capable of doing the things that we need from them. They're just not mentally, physically, emotionally, or spiritually capable of doing the things that we need to grow as a country. And so we have to replace these people. You say there are more ignorant, weak-willed people in the world than strong ones with critical thinking skills. Absolutely 100%. And that comes from not having structure when they're growing up. That comes from not having the values and having standards set on them. When you grow up and you don't have structure and you out here just doing whatever and nobody's holding you accountable, nobody's giving you any consequences for your actions, when you go out into the world, you're going to do that same thing and you're going to expect the world to accept it just like your mama and your daddy did, just like your family did. And then when they get out in the world and they see that the world is not going to accept it like that, they don't know what to do, but they haven't been properly trained from the beginning. It starts from the very beginning. And then other people feed into it as they go along because most people are going to search for a group that's like-minded. And when they find people that's like-minded, that's going to back up their crap, then that just motivates them to move forward with that flawed thinking. And they have no accountability. So now you have all of these groups out here who want to hold other people accountable, but they don't have any accountability for themselves. And so I'm not going to listen to that because I don't respect somebody who doesn't practice what they preach. You said so many can be very easily led and scammed. Absolutely. I know people right now personally who are being scammed because they want so much to have those material things that they'll overlook the red flags and they're getting scammed because of their own greed. So is it really the scammer's fault or is it the victim's fault for being so greedy? Yeah, those are questions that we have to ask, man. Said public world Trump 2024. Trump's not gonna make it to 2024, brother. He's not gonna make it to 2024. This dude is going to be either in jail or he gonna probably take his own life if he feel like he can't get out of this. People like that, narcissistic people like Donald Trump, if they can't talk their way out of it or buy their way out of it or scam their way out of it, they're going to take their own life because they are not going to take the consequences for their actions. So, hey, to each his own, man, but I don't see 20, he's not going to make it to 2024. Whether he's going to be in jail or he's going to be in a box, but he's not making it to 2024, not to run for no president no more. I promise you that. But, you know, he's not the only one that's in his own way. There's a lot of people who are in their own way and they don't understand that this country is changing. We're not putting up with them old games that they used to play. We're not falling for those semantics that they do and all of that word manipulation that they do. We're not falling for that stuff no more. We've become a lot smarter than that. And technology has given us the upper hand now because they can't lie to us and manipulate us because we can go and pull it up any second. So people like Trump and Giuliani and all of them are fading out because they're obsolete. Their tactics are obsolete, and it does not benefit anybody except them. So we're done with that as a country and as a people. We're done with those type people, man, and we're moving forward. We're slowly trying to find the right, correct people to put in these positions, man. But yeah, that's all I really had to say about it, man. Keep an eye on Donald Trump. Keep an eye on other people in this country because they're doing something. There's a big, big scam coming. I don't know what it's going to fully pertain, but we better be ready and we better be prepared. Keep your eyes open. Notice what's going on in the news with the Congress and the Senate and all of that stuff because they're going to try to do something to distract us. This is your boy D Mac, man. Y'all know what I say. Sticks and stones can break your bones, but the word can always heal you. I'm out.